So, reading from chapter 15, text 7, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 7. Mamaivam sa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manasasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So here, Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita that we, the living entities, are his parts, his eternal parts and parcels. And now, because we have forgotten our true identity, we are struggling hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Because we have forgotten our eternal relationship with him. That means conditioned life. Forgetfulness of Krishna means conditioned life. So in this verse, the identity of the living being is clearly given. The living entity is the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, eternally. It is not that he assumes individuality in his conditioned life and in his liberated state becomes one with the Supreme Lord. He's eternally fragmented. So it's not that right now, because we are in the body, we are his fragments, and that once we give up the body, we are going to become one inside the Brahma Jyoti and finish our individuality. No, that we can think like that. Nobody can stop us in thinking anything. But it's only our imagination. It's not the fact. The fact is, Krishna says that we eternally are fragmental parts. It is clearly said, Sanatana, according to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, of which the primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva, and the secondary expansions are called the living entities. So, Krishna himself, when he expands, you see, he has many, many Vishnu Tattva. Many, like Lord Rama, Lord Nishingadev, Matsya, Varaha, all those are his personal expansions. Now, we are also Krishna's expansion, secondary expansions. That's how we are also Satchidananda. Krishna is Satchidananda, we are Satchidananda. But we are not as great as Krishna. We are insignificant, we are infinitesimal. Krishna is unlimited, but we are 1/10,000, the tip of a hair. You know, so there is a big difference in the capability of Krishna and big difference in our capability, although we are Satchidananda. So, and we can never ever become Krishna. We can never ever become God, no matter how much we try, no matter how much meditation we do or try to get how much ever knowledge or austerity or penance. We can never become Krishna. We are always eternally his parts and parcels, living entities. So he is manifested in various forms like Lord Rama, Nishimadev, Vishnumurti, and all the predominating deities in the Vaikuntha planets. The separated expansions, the living entities, are eternally servitors. So we are all servants of Krishna. The personal expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual identities of the Godhead, are always present. Similarly, the separated expansions of living entities have their identities. So as Krishna always exists, Lord Nishingadev always exists, Lord Rama always exists, Varadev, Matsya, Avatar always exists. We, the tiny, tiny living entities also always exist. As fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, the living entities also have fragmental portions of his qualities, of which independence is one. So Krishna has so many qualities, right? Krishna has 64 qualities in full, and we, the living entities, have up to 50 qualities in very minute quantities, very, very minute. Because we are so tiny. If our cup is so tiny, how much water can you put in a cup? But if a vessel is like unlimited, and like an ocean, and it can keep on increasing unlimitedly. How much water can you fill in it? So unlimited, right? So same way, because we are so tiny, so our qualities are also tiny. So we also have the independence. Krishna has independence, we have independence. Now, by misuse of that independence, one becomes a conditioned soul. And by proper use of independence, he's always liberated. So what is our independence actually? Our actual independence, the only choice we have is, do we want Krishna or do we want to reject him? So the more we reject him, the more we are creating more bodies for us to be in this material world. But when we choose Krishna, then we are creating our spiritual body. We have to have a next life. It's not that we are not going to have a next life. We have to have a next body. Rather, I should say that, not next life. Rather, I should say we have to have a next body. It depends on us. We want to have a spiritual body or a material body. That is our independence. So if we have to have a body, then why not get a spiritual body? You know, finish up all this birth, death, old age, and disease. Why again come to this material world, take up so much anxiety and fear and distress? Rather, we should try now to get a spiritual body, and we can be eternally happy with Krishna in our eternal relationship. Then we don't even need to imagine what's our relationship with him, because we are in that relationship. So in his liberated state, he is freed from his material condition, and he is under the engagement of transcendental service unto the Lord. In his conditioned life, he is dominated by the material modes of nature, and he forgets the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As a result, he has to struggle very hard to maintain his existence in the material world. So we are all acting. We are all active. Soul can never be inactive, can never stop to do anything, even for a moment. We just have to see what activity are we doing. If we are doing activity of serving Krishna, like hearing, chanting his names, serving the devotees, serving the deity, worshipping the deity, and there's so many other, and then the devotees engage us in different devotional services. You know, if we are engaged in devotional service, we will see, because we are trying to make Krishna happy, because we are trying to make his devotees happy, that same happiness, we experience it. We actually feel the joy. We feel so blissful just by hearing and chanting Krishna's name. Being in the association of devotees is so blissful. Because we are trying to make him happy, he shares that happiness with us. But now, if we are forgetting to serve Krishna, and we say, why should I make Krishna happy? I want to make myself happy. I will talk of whatever I want to talk, whatever makes me happy. I don't want to talk of Krishna. I don't want to hear about Krishna. I want to hear what is the news today. Let me see what's the news. And then what happens? Does that make us happy or make us more anxiety and more fearful and more distressed? And then you'll say, oh, but you can't live in a cocoon. You have to live in the world. Why? You know, okay, live in the world, but live in the world with the knowledge that all the news that we are hearing is just temporary. They are just relaying of what are the events happening now. So after 5,000 years, these events won't matter anymore. These events won't matter anymore to us in our next body. But when we hear about Krishna, when we hear about our relationship with Krishna, about our real identity, it still matters to us in our next body. So that choice is ours. Is that okay?
Yes.
So shall we stop here and continue the next para tomorrow?
Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, thank you for joining.